Recording for sync. Hey everyone, my name's Ben Lowy. Thanks for coming. I am a Sony Artisan photographer, frequent shopper at Unique Photo, or I was. I live in New Jersey, but now I'm actually moving, so this is my last hurrah, my last day. But as a Sony Artisan, as a photographer, you know, I obviously use a bunch of this gear and have to talk about it. But what I did want to talk about, especially today during the Sony Creative Space, is, you know, we have this time right now to go back and forth with our colleagues in this virtual place. But what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about being prolific, staying busy, trying not to get depressed when we can't do the same stuff we normally do, and like how we can keep on staying together and working and producing things in these crazy times. And my wife and I, my wife is Marvi Lacar, also a Sony Artisan, not here today. We work as a team. And a lot of what we are trying to do in the last 6 months was really about keeping busy, was really about keep on making images, making stories, telling videos, even in a time like this. And we did some serious stuff where I was using the FX9, and we did a whole video piece on coronavirus, taking a big cinema camera into New York City morgues, onto the subway, working with that, trying to tell that story, to the same time using the Xperias to tell a story with our kids, or shooting a whole bunch of different projects. Now for me, as a gearhead, I get turned on by having lots of different equipment, having technology, and let each one kind of help me tell a story, because that inspires me to keep on going. And with Sony, you do have a ton of different gear. So the first one I'm gonna just show up right here is the Sony RX10. Now I'm doing this big project where I walked around in New York City and I was doing street portraits of people wearing their masks, right? Making giant grids and mosaics of like as many New Yorkers as I can get. Well, I'm not gonna walk around New York City where, you know, with a 600mm lens doing portraits. But with this camera you can. This is a 24 to 600mm right in here. It's super tiny, and I'm going around, you know, extending this all the way out to 600, taking really tight portraits of people. Really helpful tool to use for that kind of project, or even the other more mundane projects where I'm photographing my kids, photographing the gloves and masks that people leave behind on the street. My RX 107, just something that I slip in my back pocket that probably gives me a little bit better images than I'm gonna get out of my phone. You know, but for a lot of the projects that we're going on, whether it's using the FX9, whether it's using the new A7, trying to keep all the numbers, the A7S III for shooting just such super high resolution 4K 120, 10-bit, or even going, you know, you have all these different compressions now out of there, to making like really high resolution files using the A7R4, shooting that in Super 35. And like, you know, just the idea that you can switch back and forth between Super 35 and full frame on a higher resolution chip, and how more things are tight and focused, it changes the game. Because so much of filmmaking has been straightforward about the digital chip and about the type of camera. Are you shooting Panavision? Are you shooting Super 35, full frame, or using an anamorphic lens? Now we can bring in all these different things into it, and they change our images up. And you can find ways to express yourself within the happy accidents of what digital can do for you that you didn't even know that was there before. And that's why we have to keep on working and keep on making images. And I consider it a personal daily failure if I don't make enough images in a day to show me something new, to help me figure something out. I'm constantly photographing, and that's what we have to do, especially these days when we're all locked in. And, you know, we gotta figure out new ways to kind of talk, both to ourselves and to other people. This is a unique time in history. Now, one of the things I like about the Sony Creative Space is, yeah, we don't have a lot of time and don't have a lot of interaction with our colleagues. We're not going off on assignments. As an underwater photographer, you know, or wanting to be an underwater photographer, I haven't had an underwater assignment in a year, and because I'm just home in Jersey, right? The only thing that's underwater is me and my expenses. But, you know, I have to keep on figuring out new ways to talk. I have to keep on figuring out new ways to make images, whether it's my dogs, my kids, you know, gloves, coronavirus, anything. There's something out there. And the thing about the Sony Creative Space is it's a great time virtually to come together. It's like a big giant Zoom meeting with all your friends in the photo world. But remember, we should all wear pants. Is that? Yeah, that's perfect. We should all wear pants on our Zoom meetings.